Hey, everybody. Happy Friday. Today is September 25th. I'm joined by the greatest band of all time, and we're here to bring you the top 5 sports things for today that you need to be keeping in mind. They may not be the biggest, but it's what you need to know, especially for long-term thinking here. Before we get started, we have a new episode out. It dropped yesterday morning. We're always dropping kind of in that Wednesday, early Thursday range, because we always want to make sure that we're getting people covered for the Thursday night game going into Friday. So that's what's most important to us. And you can find our podcast, the DH Podcast, Spotify, Apple, Anchor, anywhere. Those are our 3 biggest ones at the moment, but more than welcome to help pump any of those other numbers up as well. So, and those of you that are coming from the podcast that heard about the YouTube series, I appreciate you. Please feel free to like, subscribe. I don't know exactly how that works either. My more preferred thing would be that you follow or subscribe on the audio platforms, so that right whenever we drop a new episode, you get a notification if it's on, or if not, it'll be at the top of your listen next lineup. At least that's the way my Spotify works. So, number 1, as we jump on in, Nuggets have the Lakers right where they want them. 3-1 lead, baby. This is literally the 3rd time that we've seen these out of the Nuggets, and the Nuggets won both of those. It's how they were scratching and clawing. I think smart money is on Nuggets for Game 5. I think smart money is on Lakers for Game 6. That's exactly how that goes. Celtics, Lakers. You've got their Game 5 tonight as well. Heat are also up 3-1. These conference finals, they've been incredibly interesting because each game in this Eastern Conference Finals has been decided by a couple of possessions. I think you're going to continue to see that no matter who wins. Honestly, smart money's on the Heat. If the Celtics had really capitalized and been able to win Game 4 and we were all notched up at 2-2, I might have a different favorability here. But I think that the Celtics have not come back from a 3-1 lead like the Nuggets have, so they know what it takes to win. Getting Gordon Hayward back in that lineup was incredibly pivotal to them. Helps them fight against the zone. They're able to actually have somebody that can break out of it, especially on defense for them. So when you're looking at gambling, you're taking the Heat. I think the Heat are favored by 3.5. I would definitely take that. Even if the Celtics are favored, I'm still taking the Heat on that one. I don't see many ways that because let's potentially say we get to a 7 games. So let's say that we have 3 more games left of this series. If you bet on the Heat, you're going to win money at some point in time. I do think the Heat close the door, whether that's tonight, whether that's Friday night, or whether that's Sunday. I have no idea. I do think the Heat will close the door, so smart money is always going to be gambling on Miami because if you watch the games, on paper, the Celtics have more talent. The Celtics have more all-stars, but on paper doesn't give a shit about your feelings. It's on the court, and you don't see many players that care as much as Bam, as Tyler, as Jimmy. I mean, you can tell that these guys want it more than any of the final 4 teams that are remaining. It's a fact. I haven't even seen LeBron be that passionate yet. All LeBron's been doing has been complaining about fouls and how he's not getting enough. Oh my God. Continue to complain, and then we'll just continue to follow the narrative that the refs handed you another title. Bang, bang, boom. Don't start a conversation that you don't want to finish. Pretty simple right there. Number 2, following off Thursday night football, really terrible showing for the Jaguars. No ifs, ands, or buts around it. They were expected to win. A lot of I don't know where I was going with that. A lot of gambling money. A lot of people were hedging for the Jags on this one. They had an incredible 2-week showing, and boy, did they shit the bed week 3. Miami came out. I don't know if it was the Fitz magic game, if you want to call it that. He tossed 3 TDs, ran for 1. So had an incredible game out of Fitzpatrick. But yeah, Minshew couldn't save him. Nobody could save him. It didn't matter who you had. Everybody on the Jaguars side, offense and defense, looked weak. And we even saw Cam Robinson get ejected. I thought it was a little suspect. Cam Robinson, he had the ref touching his face mask and touching his shoulder pads, and all he did was move, took both of his hands up, moved the ref's arm out of the way. I don't see anything wrong with that. If I'm a player, I just shouldn't be subject to having the referee grab me or push down on me so that his fat ass can get up. It's not my fault that he's old and slow. That's his problem. So I hate that kind of ejection. I think those things should be double looked at. I think that we're taking the term, put your hands on a referee entirely too literally. I think that it was more meant to, if it was an act of aggression towards the referee, whether it was retaliation or not, I didn't find that aggressive. I didn't find that retaliatory, whatever the hell the word is. I found it as just a dude that didn't want the ref all grabbing him, pushing him. Saw no problem with that whatsoever. But of course, we've been coddling referees, umpires, officials, at least the past 5-10 years. So what can you expect? It's only going to get worse until the rules change. Until the rules change to where referees can be accountable for their decisions and they're sitting in post-game conferences, just like the players are, then it's going to be really tough because they want to be treated with respect, but they're also asking to not have an even playing field. They don't want to be accountable, but they want to be treated with the same respect as Patrick Mahomes. Sure, shit will never happen until they can be accountable. Simple as that. Number 3, Pac-12's back. That one went so far under the radar. Big Ten, huge news, monstrous news. Pac-12, we're excited that it's back, super happy that it's back, but here's the problem. 7-game series, 7-game schedule in conference, of course, beginning in November. So, we're worried about the Big Ten having playoff hopes when they only play 8 in-conference games and 1 conference championship, which smart and most likely easy money, Ohio State versus Wisconsin. Now, my co-host Matt has decided that because it's 2020, we can pretty much just throw norms and rules out the window, which, on the offset, make perfect sense. You can watch for a dark horse. I don't think you'll see a dark horse in the West. I think that Wisconsin is double the team, the skill, the size of everybody that they have to place. I mean, they're not, Purdue, Northwestern, Iowa. Like, maybe Iowa can come up in there, but none of those other teams have much of a chance at all. Whereas on the East, it's Michigan State, it's Michigan, it's Ohio State. I mean, you got a lot more, Penn State, sorry. You got a lot more powerhouses on the East side. Oh, and Nebraska. Nebraska drew a terrible card, by the way, and they should be happy that they did. They're going to get the most money out of it, but at the same point in time, it was a retaliatory move by the Big Ten because they didn't like somebody whistleblowing. So they decided to screw Nebraska with a very difficult 4-game stretch just to start off the season. So don't be surprised if they go 0-4 or 1-3. They get some really difficult games. Again, this Pac-12 starting in November, they're not going to have enough games to compete. Simple as that. Now, they don't have a team to compete either because USC is still not the caliber of a playoff championship or a CFP team. They haven't given us any hope that they are. We haven't seen anything like they are. So we've been saying it for months. Count the Pac-12 out. The reason why they're playing is so they can continue to get revenue from these games being played. They're not going to have any fans, so it's not like they're getting merch or concession sales, anything like that. It's the revenue from the universities that they're tossing money back and forth to one another. And that's okay. I respect that. But it can also be a showcase for these players to say, hey, you know what? I know my team's not going anywhere. I know that we don't have any chance whatsoever, but I deserve to be drafted. I'm going to ball my ass off. I'm balling out. I need to show these scouts that I am available, that I have a chance, that I can compete, and that I can produce at the NFL level. Simple as that. And on that side of the coin, I completely respect the Pac-12 for doing what they did because they're now giving their players a chance to showcase their talents and abilities. I appreciate that. And also, I love watching football. Two great things. On the other side, I feel bad for these players that if we did have a dark horse, if we did have a USC, if we did have, any of these other teams that are coming out of the West Coast, if we had an Oregon that are coming out of here, if they were some, magical Cinderella team, it doesn't matter. They can go 7-0 and they can win the conference and go 8-0. They're not getting in. The committee would rather, and I promise you this, committee's rather going to take a team that, let's say Ohio State, for example. Ohio State loses one game. So they're 7-1, and then they win the conference final. They'd rather have that conference championship and an extra game added on, or they'd rather take an SEC team that's played 2 more games, or a Big 12 team where you've got Texas, Oklahoma State, Oklahoma that are all big dogs for winning that conference this year. They would rather take a one-loss team that's been playing since the start of the season than somebody who's played 8 games. I'm sorry to say it. It's just a fact because length of schedule is something we've never seen before, but is now a contributor into strength of schedule, as it very well should be. So keep that in mind. We're extremely happy the Pac-12 is back, especially for the players, but keep it in mind. Number 4, Nick Nurse gets a contract extension. This is his 3rd season, so he won a title in the first, Coach of the Year in the second, and going into his 3rd, he has gotten, while he lost in the second round, he's getting a contract extension. The Raptors are in a good place. These guys are so scrappy, and they're fun to play. They're fun to hate if you don't like them. Sorry, Canada, but they're a great team. You can clearly see that they're a championship caliber team. Did Kawhi carry them? I wouldn't say that he carried them, but there's a reason between losing in the second round and winning the championship. And they've only lost one piece. So Celtics didn't get any better. Sixers didn't get any better. Bucks didn't get any better. Those rosters almost all stayed the same. Well, with the way the Celtics are playing, I don't really know if you can count Kemba Walker as being a monster upgrade yet. So, Raptors didn't change much besides losing Kawhi. So, take that for what you will. I think that the offseason, they're really going to be shopping some heavy hitters. Draymond's up this offseason. You got a huge free agent class. It's going to be really weird, especially with a shortened season and a bubble season at that. To kick it off. So I'm excited because I think that Toronto likes their squad. They love their core. They love the way that Nick Nurse works with them. And clearly, by signing him onto a contract extension, then that means the players have bought in too. So to me, you need one more piece. And I'm not even saying that piece needs to be a superstar. But if you get somebody of Siakam's talent, and I would say Siakam's a B+, he is an all-star, but he's not a superstar, so he's not that top 6. So he's not like an A+ player, but he's a B+ player, which means he's incredibly valued to the organization, as he should be. So keep that in mind because we want to watch Toronto heavily over the offseason. Who are they going to be bringing in? And if they keep somebody that, is constantly and consistently putting up numbers but isn't popular, perfect for Toronto. They love being under the radar, and they're good at it too. So that's one thing I'm really excited to see in the offseason is the moves that Toronto makes. Because if they can add another blue chip type of player, somebody, lunch pail, hard hat, going into work every day, even another bigger guy like Marc Gasol. Who's the... If they were to add a Clint Capella, it'd be... And I'm gonna check this before I'm wrong here, folks. Let's see. I want to make sure. Yeah, what the hell? Oh, yeah. Get Capella out of Atlanta. Just get him out of Atlanta. Bring him to Toronto. That would be an incredible piece. I think that he's slept on by a lot of people. He got dealt from the Rockets to the Hawks. Bring him up to Toronto. I think he'd be a great fit. Number 5, and finally, just watch some sports this weekend. I mean, we can see many, many things happen this weekend that are huge. The MLB season ends on Sunday. How bananas is that shit? It's crazy. SEC's back this weekend. Boom. Huge. Check out all the games. It's going to be difficult to bet on them, especially since the spreads are literally in the 20s and 30s. It's tough to gamble on. We'll most likely have the NBA Finals set. We're most likely, again, comebacks barring, which a Nuggets-Celtics would be hilarious after both the Heat and Lakers are up 3-1. Great storyline. So we're most likely going to see the NBA Finals set. We're most likely going to see a divisive game in the Stanley Cup Finals. I mean, Tampa Bay's up 2-1. This can either be a notch back up to even or, again, a boot on the throat in the Stanley Cup Finals. So on Monday, I don't think the Stanley Cup Finals will have been decided, but it'll be damn close to getting there. So we'll only have 1 to 2 more games left by Monday. UFC fight, Abu Dhabi this weekend. I mean, it doesn't matter what you like. MLS is going on. I mean, you've got all the leagues. You got Bundesliga rocking. All the European soccer leagues are going. So take your pick, really, whatever's your favorite. And of course, you've got a week 3 NFL slate. I mean, I can't believe I forgot that. Nature is healing. That's all we can say. All right, everybody. Well, I appreciate you taking the time and listening. If you have any comments, if you think I got something wrong, or if you want to add to the conversation, you can comment below. You can find us on Twitter or on Instagram at DH_podcast. And again, that's a great place to find more information about us. From the links in our bio, you can get to any of the platforms to listen to the podcast. You can also take you back here as well. Whatever you need to do. Thank you all for listening. Have an incredible, incredible weekend. Have a few brews. You deserve it. And we'll see you guys on Monday.